come and take the seventh shot, the seventh shot. With a little luck you get oh! Myocarditis. You won't have to be rich with CBDC. You'll have all you need with central currency. We just take your extra wealth and your cash.
Hi, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. So, I am just going to take a couple of baby steps down the rabbit hole, so bear with me. But I think this is very important. As you know, I've been watching a lot of Dazed and Not Confused because for many years I've studied the Nexium cult. Nexium cult is an offshoot, I believe, of Scientology. I mean, basically stole all the ideas from there. Now I'm learning it more about it because I just didn't know all this about Scientology. I hadn't researched it, and Doug is just giving out the information in such a wonderful way that it's just amazing to me. So basically, as you know, Scientology is a secret society and it's satanic. It's much like the Masons. When you first enter it, they tell you, "Oh, we're Christian, we love God and everything." But then as you get into it and you go up the steps, you start learning the satanic nature. And it's very secretive. You just like in a Masonic society, secret societies, it's a secret society. It's a huge secret society, been around for generations. I don't know how millions of followers, or I don't know how exactly how many, but there's many followers. They're completely brainwashed and they want to take over the world. They've been wanting to take over the world. They've been working on this for generations, and they're a secret society. And like the World Economic Forum, which many say is a front group, Scientology has been placing their people in government positions, in secretly placing them, penetrating cabinets, if you will. I'm wondering if the World Economic Forum and all this stuff is actually a front group for Scientology. Just wondering, could be, right? Because look, all right, so this is the pyramid structure that you climb up little by little and spend millions and millions of dollars to reach, and all along the way you're getting more and more brainwashed, gradually, brainwashed with their auditing and whatnot. And the highest levels of Scientology, as Doug Kramer explains, which he reached some of the points before he said he lost his mind at one point. What they do to your mind, they're splitting your mind, is OT, which is operating Thetan, it's called. Of course, L. Ron Hubbard was a science fiction writer, and but that joke is left off on people who read his stuff. They actually take it seriously. They're completely brainwashed. And Doug here has some of the highest levels of Scientology documents, um, of what they tell people at the highest level. When you get to the highest points, OT8 is supposed to be the highest. That's when you find out what Scientology is really about. And Doug says that this is confirmed by ex-members who did this level, that this is legitimate document. It's not a joke. This is what L. Ron Hubbard distributed in the early 80s. So, it's a lot of blah, blah, blah science fiction stuff. But what I want to get to here, which I found very, very interesting, and I think you will too, is okay. L. Ron Hubbard's saying that he's left his body by the time you read this, but he wants to come back to serve as the Antichrist. Um, so he's emphasizing this is secret information. So then he goes into the story, and this is what they take seriously at this level because you're so brainwashed at this point that you're going to believe anything basically L. Ron Hubbard tells you. So it's he's talking blah blah blah. He's discrediting the Bible. And then he says the problem with humans is that their genetics, and he claims that there's implants implanted in human beings. You can find that section, pardon me. And he's saying an implant laden, carefully controlled genetic mutation at incident 2 of OT3, that's their level operating thetan, periodically reinforced by controlled historic events. Since then, it makes it effectively impossible for beings on the more heavily affected planets such as Earth to become free. So it causes progressive genetic evolution that gives the subject population greater and greater susceptibility to the telepathic impingement and direction of the controllers. In the final stage of progression, it becomes almost geometric, this final stage that we are rapidly approaching. So he's talking about genetics. There's this genetic problem humans have that needs to be fixed. You see where I'm going with this? This is from 1980. Keep in mind, Scientology wants to take over the world, has wanted to take over the world, and they're everywhere. They're very wealthy. They've sapped all the resources of all their followers. All their followers. I mean, even Doug Kramer said before he broke out of this, before reading a book about cults and mind programming, he said he was 100% in this. He believed this 100%, and he would have fought off anyone who said otherwise. That's why he's so passionate about sharing this and exposing it, because he wants to try to wake up his followers. They're the followers, right? So there's no doubt you're familiar with Revelation section of the Bible. It refers to the arch enemy of Christ, referred to as the Antichrist. And L. Ron Hubbard writes, all this makes a very fantastical, entertaining reading, but there is truth in it. The Antichrist represents the forces of Lucifer, literally light bearers or light bringer, Lucifer being a mythical representation of the forces of enlightenment of the Galactic Confederacy. My mission, according to L. Ron Hubbard, his mission could be said is to fulfill the biblical promise represented by this Antichrist period. During this period is a fleeting opportunity for the whole scenario to be effectively derailed, which will make it impossible for the mass Markabian landing, second coming, to take place. So L. Ron Hubbard's basically saying that he's going to be the Antichrist, but he's going to be saving humanity from the aliens that are currently controlling humanity through genetic mutations. Science fiction writer. His brainwashed followers believe this, and there's lots of them. They have lots of money, and they're all over the place, connected, high places. So look at Tom Cruise hanging out with Prince William and Princess Catherine. Okay, they're just Scientology is powerful. You can't dismiss it, right? With the exception of Buddhism, virtually all religion of consequence. Blah blah blah. Evolution of consciousness. He says it's going to bring about the enslavement of mankind. There we go. See here, keep going. But anyways, the point is he keeps talking about how there's going to be a genetic change of some sort for him to save humanity. And his followers are really going to believe this. But here it gets more specific here. Bits of darkness. Galactic Confederacy associated with the serpent and the garden. So he's going through this idea of the Bible. He's like rewriting the Bible here. What he say is the truth, his but here. Okay, here we go. It's this next section here. I think so. Right. As soon as I leave this world, okay, so L. Ron Hubbard say this, as soon as I leave this world and complete my mission with another identity, stretch my arms back from a distant star, from a distant galaxy, and he'll come back. But L. Ron Hubbard's return. Now remember, Scientologists were trying to bring L. Ron Hubbard back. He has a shrine somewhere where they expect him to beam his body back down, or spirit back down into the earth. So this is serious business with Scientologists. They're working on getting L. Ron Hubbard back here. But how do they get? So if you're a Scientologist, you're completely brainwashed. It's your mission to take over the world, and you want to bring L. Ron Hubbard, your hero, back. How does L. Ron Hubbard say to do this? It appears my return depends on people like you, and he referred to his brainwashed followers, doing these materials through a completely so that there will be a genetically uncontaminated body for me to pick up and resume where I left off. So I can't highlight the text here, it's on a video. Genetically, so L. Ron Hubbard is telling his followers that he needs a genetically uncontaminated body. Well, what's a genetically uncontaminated body? Let's find out. A body free of religious mania. Body free of religious mania, right wrong dichotomy, and synthetic karma. The job ahead is far too tough even to contemplate. Courtesy of certain dimension players and their Markab pieces, or right here, in the general population, genetically altered body. So L. Ron Hubbard is claiming that he needs to genetically clean altered body that's free of religious mania, in order for him to come back. So the whole population needs to be cleared of this genetic mutation. And have we not? Scientific article, National Library of Medicine, NIH, 2008, experimenting with spirituality, analyzing the God gene. And I'm sure you've heard the VMAT gene. Everybody's talking about the VMAT gene. What's the VMAT gene? It's what makes people religious, or what they call religious extremists. The God gene. Why all this interest? Where the heck did they get the idea of a God gene, anyways? Who said that there's one piece of your gene that's God? I mean, that gives you a relationship with God, right? I mean, where did this come from? Did it come from L. Ron Hubbard? Is that why they started looking for a God gene? And is that why in the past few years everybody has been pushed to take genetic therapy that genetically modifies people, ostensibly, from what I hear? Does this all go back to L. Ron Hubbard? Is this whole thing from Scientology and the Scientologists that's been thrust on the world? We know it's evil. Scientology is based in Satanism. Dazed but Not Confused talks all about it. It's definitely a satanic cult. Of course, they don't think they're in a cult. Now, and remember, you're talking generations and generations of Scientologists here. That Danny Masterson guy who went to prison for rape, he was like a second generation. I mean, you're talking second, third generations of this uh, cult, or maybe even more. I mean, it's been around for a long, long time. They're very secretive. I don't know what they're working on. Have you heard anything they're working on? They're very secretive. But boom, suddenly we've got genetically modified, genetically altered uh, shots. And it just so happens that the world needs to be genetically modified for L. Ron Hubbard to come back, which is the number one goal of Scientologists. So that's my rabbit hole. Is it just me, or am I onto something here? What do you think?